To understand the severity of this disrespect, we have to look at the timeline. Shakur Stevenson just moved up to 140 pounds to take on Teofimo Lopez. This was a legacy fight. It was the moment Shakur transitioned from a defensive wizard to a legitimate superstar. He walked into that ring, executed a perfect game plan, and left with the WBO belt. The celebrations were barely over. The team hadn't even left the hotel lobby before the WBC decided to drop the hammer. Usually, when a champion wins a belt in a new weight class, they are given a grace period. They get a few weeks, sometimes even a month, to decide which weight class they want to campaign in. They have to decide whether to vacate the old belt or drop the new one. It is standard procedure. But for Shakur, there was no grace period. The WBC immediately declared the lightweight world title vacant. They claimed it was consistent with their rules and regulations, but to anyone paying attention, the timing felt incredibly aggressive. It felt like they had the press release written before the first bell even rang.
In the light of champion Stevenson now being the reigning WBO super lightweight world champion and consistent with the WBC rules and regulation, the WBC has declared vacant its lightweight world title. The WBC wishes champion Stevenson continued success in all his future endeavors, both inside and outside the ring. Now, here's the thing for me. Yes, I'm sure that it is in the ring. I mean, it is in the rules that you cannot hold a championship between the WBC and another sanctioning body in two different weight classes. You can't do it. Also, you really can't hold belts in two different weight classes at the same time. That said, I still think that the WBC's move and not allowing Shakur Stevenson to make the decision as to what he's going to do is a little bit of a spit in the face, and it is not the first spit in the face that camp has had from the WBC recently. Because if you recall, Terence Crawford was the WBC champion after he beat Canelo Alvarez for the WBC belt, and they got into a scrum about the sanctioning fees, and right there they said, nope, if you say you're not paying these fees, we're taking your belt, and they stripped Terence.
This is where things get ugly. Shakur Stevenson didn't just lose a belt, he exposed a financial demand that looks a lot like a shakedown. The WBC reportedly demanded a staggering $100,000 sanctioning fee from Shakur. Here's the kicker. The WBC belt wasn't even on the line for the Teofimo Lopez fight. They wanted six figures from his purse for a fight they had absolutely nothing to do with. Shakur, who has never been one to bite his tongue, took to social media to blast the organization. He called them crooks and made it clear that he wasn't going to play their game. In a viral post, he stated, "What the hell am I giving y'all $100,000 right now for? The WBC didn't even have T to do with this fight." It's a valid question. In what other business can you demand a cut of the profits when you provided zero services?
Right here, this is the WBC championship. They could have given people an opportunity to hold that belt. For example, they could have had an opportunity for him to hold that belt and given him an opportunity to say what he was going to do, as far as staying at 140 or 135. That said, Shakur Stevenson has been saying that he wanted to move back down to 135 after he won the 140-pound title. He said he was planning on staying, made public statements that he was going to be staying at the weight class, but it is what it is now that he's been stripped. So, the options just got a lot more thin from Shakur. So he's going to have to hold on to that WBO belt at 140 pounds and start doing work with guys in the 140-pound,
The emotional weight of his response is what really rallied the fans to his side. He mentioned his daughter, Leilani, saying he would rather give that money to his baby girl than hand it over to a suit in Mexico City. It was a defiant stance that highlighted just how ridiculous the sanctioning fee model has become in modern boxing. If you think this is just about Shakur Stevenson, you aren't looking closely enough. Shakur believes and has explicitly stated that he is merely collateral damage in a much bigger war. He claims the WBC is punishing him because of his close relationship with Terence Crawford. Shakur posted, "Y'all got beef with Bud, so come at me for it." This is a massive accusation. He is suggesting that a global sanctioning body is operating based on personal grudges rather than sporting merit. And when you look at the recent history, it is hard to argue against him. Crawford and Shakur are tight. They are like brothers. They train together, they support each other, and apparently, they get punished together. The WBC seems to be sending a message to the entire Crawford stable. If you defy us, we will erase you from our history books.
Shakur Stevenson made it abundantly clear that he's a 135-pounder. He's going up in weight just for situational fights. He just defeated two-division world champion, former unified lightweight, and now former WBO junior welterweight superstar Teofimo Lopez in dominating fashion. He's now 22 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 13 wins by way of knockout. After a beautiful performance, a dominating performance, the WBC, in a rush to do nothing, can't give this dude a week to make a decision on what he wants to do next. This dude, Shakur, has told the world, I'm 135 pounds. I plan on competing at 135 unless there's a situation that presents itself. You got Lamont Roach, who you elevated to the number 2 fighter in the WBC at 135. Right? Shakur says yesterday, I'm willing to fight Lamont Roach. We're going to make it happen. Right? Not once did Shakur say that he's staying at 140 pounds.
To fully understand why the WBC is so angry, we have to rewind to December 2025. This was the moment that changed everything. Terence Crawford did the unthinkable and defeated Canelo Alvarez. It was the biggest money fight of the decade. Naturally, the WBC wanted their cut. They wanted the sanctioning fees for the super middleweight title. Crawford, sitting on the biggest payday of his life, looked at the fees, which would have been in the millions, and said no. He refused to pay. He realized that at this stage in his career, the man makes the belt doesn't make the man. The WBC responded by stripping him of his undisputed status just days before he announced his retirement. It was a petty move designed to tarnish his exit, but it backfired. It only made Crawford look like a rebel hero who stood up to the system. Now it seems they are taking out that lingering frustration on the next man up, Shakur Stevenson.
I see Mauricio, got a lot to say about me not paying him $300,000 plus another $100K something for sanction fees, right? Then he gonna tell me I ain't even apologize. Like, who the f*** you think I am? Boy, you better slap your self and paying your ass shit. You talking about pay you $300,000? What makes you so better than any of the other sanctioned bodies? Huh? Answer that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you? So since you, the WBC, and you got the green belt, which don't mean real belt is the ring belt, which is free. What are you talking about? You want me to pay you more than the other sanctioned bodies because you feel like you better than them? How in the world all the sanctioned bodies agreed to the same amount, but you sit your ass up there and say that I need to apologize to you? You can take the
belt.
Terence Crawford didn't stay silent while his little brother was getting stripped. He jumped into the comments section with the kind of energy that only a retired king can have. He laughed at the WBC, addressing them directly. WBC, ain't no way y'all are still this mad. His most cutting remark, however, was a simple reminder of value. He told Shakur, "It's cool, bro. The ring belt was free." This is a devastating blow to the WBC's brand. The Ring Magazine belt is historically viewed as the People's Championship, awarded to the lineal best fighter. It doesn't come with exorbitant sanctioning fees. When the best fighter in the world tells the next generation that the prestigious green belt is worthless compared to the free ring belt, it devalues the WBC's entire product. Crawford even told Shakur, "Take your belt, it don't make me." That is the new mantra. The era of fighters bowing down to the alphabet boys simply to have a piece of jewelry is ending.
Is there going to be a Zuffa belt where like the winner of the Zuffa belt has a springboard into like Riyadh season and a championship fight, a Ring Magazine fight?
You and I have never talked about this, but the answer is yes. That's
right, of
exactly
course.
What will happen?
Of course, yeah. Right.
There will be a Zuffa belt, and then there will be a ring belt. And yes, I will not recognize any of the other sanctions.
There is a deeper layer to this story that isn't being discussed on the main broadcasts. Rumors have been swirling for months about a major shift in the boxing landscape involving Zuffa boxing and Dana White. The speculation is that the power players in combat sports are trying to build a league structure that cuts out the sanctioning bodies entirely.
I thoroughly don't give a shit. Listen, I thoroughly don't give a shit. And to go further, I don't think Shakur Stevenson should give one shit either. And that's the Black Two Sugar. Get the Tyson Bell. Now listen, nothing against the WBC. And I hate when I have to make this take, okay, a take like this. Because the WBC, friends of mine, all right, Mauricio Suleiman, they're friends of mine. And listen, all the WBC has ever done for me is educate me, give me more information, benefit me. They've never taken from me, not once, ever. All right, now from this channel, nothing. All right, so I love the WBC, but I have to give my take. All right, I don't give a shit that he was stripped, and I would be disappointed if Shakur Stevenson gave a shit. Let me tell you why. All right, is there a doubt in your mind that Shakur Stevenson is the best fighter in the world at 135? Is it? I'm talking about active fighter right now. Is there a doubt in your mind that Shakur Stevenson is the best fighter at 140? Is there one doubt in your mind? There shouldn't be.
If fighters like Crawford and Shakur Stevenson stop paying sanctioning fees, the WBC's revenue stream dries up overnight. This $100,000 demand wasn't just about greed, it was about fear. They are terrified that the top stars are realizing they don't need the belts to sell pay-per-views. Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson sold out without the WBC lightweight strap on the line. That is a nightmare scenario for the organization.
F 'em. The Ring Magazine belt was free. This is why people like Max Kellerman can't stand these sanction bodies. This is why Max Kellerman doesn't even acknowledge these sanction bodies. This is why Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh don't want to acknowledge it. They stripped Dimitri Bivol 48 hours after he first became a world champion and held their belt. He didn't even hold the WBC belt for 72 hours. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So you got paid from Sabril Matias, Dalton Smith, Isaac Cruz, Shakur Stevenson for defending his title against Williams Zepeda. And now you want Shakur to pay you again? for a fight you have absolutely nothing to do with. This is the WBO, World Boxing Organization. Has nothing to do with the IBF, WBA, or WBC. And the WBC greedy self wanted Shakur Stevenson to pay $100,000 to them for what? Their belt wasn't in the ring. Disgusting. I can't wait to turkey out a sheet. His Excellency Dana White, TKO. So everybody complaining about, the Muhammad Ali Act and Dana White coming in. Look at the nasty work that, man, I'm done, man. I gotta go.
Stripping of Shakur Stevenson isn't just a standard administrative decision, it is a battle line being drawn in the sand. On one side, you have the old guard, the sanctioning bodies that have controlled boxing for decades, demanding their cut. On the other side, you have the fighters, led by Crawford and Stevenson, who are finally realizing their own worth.
See, the reason why you would want a belt or to be champion, all right, is to show people, like show them with something tangible, that this represents me being number one, being the best. And fighters pay a sanctioning fee, pay a portion of their purse just to have this tangible thing. It's sitting on my wall right now, okay? This one autographed by Mike Tyson, his WBC title. You pay a sanctioning fee to show everyone in the world by holding this tangible thing that I am the best. But the question is, do you think he's not the best? There is a clear reason why Shakur Stevenson is the best. It's because he beat the best. He beat the lineal champion in Teofimo Lopez. When he left 135, at the time he left 135, with everything that's going on with Gervonta Tank Davis, him having a draw with Lamont Roach, when you look at 135, he was the best. Hit the Tyson bell. See, this is where the rubber meets the road. You want to be seen as the best. But the only way to be the best is to beat the best. And there is a tangible thing that fighters hold to represent that. Oh, you did beat the best. How do I know? Well, he was the best. How do you know? Because he beat the best. And you can follow that all the way back, and that's called the lineal champion. And that tangible thing you hold is called the ring belt. And it happens to be for free.
Kept his $100,000. He kept his dignity, and he kept the WBO belt that he actually fought for. The WBC may have taken their strap back, but in doing so, they might have pushed the sport one step closer to a future where they no longer exist. As Crawford said, the belt doesn't make the man, and right now, the man is winning. But we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think of the WBC stripping Shakur Stevenson of his belt without any grace period? Also, will the rise of Zuffa boxing into the sport of boxing change things for the better? Let us know in the comments. That's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.